Welcome to session 4, fellas, and other things. Everyone is gonna awake, but not quite.
Oh, wait,
So there's gonna be just.
Good sir, remind us what happened last session.
Oh yes.
Didn't you watch
yes,
the last
sorry.
video?
I can't quite remember where we were last session.
I watched
Sorry,
the last
my
video
bad.
last night.
Didn't you watch the last video?
No,
I
I
laughed
did.
at
Oh,
myself.
no. Okay. No, what I couldn't remember is where we went to sleep. Now I remember.
Shameless plug.
I remember.
Didn't you
Loose,
watch the last session?
Loose was
I'm being
drunk.
jumped right now.
I shipped him off to bed and we passed out.
Correct. However, not everybody's gonna wake up right away. Ilbrian's
Is it
actually
because
going to
someone's
be.
having a hangover?
Wait, what?
No. This is part of the story that I'm trying to
Gotcha.
develop here. So Ilbrian is gonna be the first one to wake up, and he starts walking towards the area where Alucard had fallen asleep. I know this is about to be scary. Anyways, he starts walking over to where Alucard has been asleep with Where the hell did I go?
Where
there we
did I go?
So, Ilbrian is walking over to Alucard, and he brought some provisions with him, along with so it's like a drink, just a little bite of meat or something. And he goes over to Alucard and sees him upon the dead ogre that he is brutally mauled to death, and he goes ahead and tries to shake him awake. At this point, Ilbrian's kind of shaking him a little bit harder to wake him up.
What? What's going on?
It's
you.
Ilbrian simply offers Alucard the little bite of meat and the drink that he has brought.
He stares at Ilbrian almost not sure what to do for a couple of seconds before aggressively taking the meat and just munching down the entire thing because he was physically exhausted from the night before.
He says, "Well, I can see you're hungry."
Alucard just doesn't say anything. I have no words. He looks up and with anger in his face, but not saying much of anything.
Ilbrian says, Can we talk about the town?"
He gives him a look like he's listening, but won't say anything.
Ilbrian tells him that, simply says, "Well, the town, not everybody's dead."
Oh, I'm just waiting for you to continue.
Okay, so Ilbrian simply repeats himself and says, Not everybody's dead. Among the confusion, I saved a few."
Why?
"Not as bad as you think. Even I value some lives over others. Those lives were taken for no reason."
So
Why?
where are they now?
They're back at Barbados, living lives in their own little place. I made sure they got the best of housing and the best of wait staff.
But how could the Barbados take in people they hunted and killed?
You have to remember, my standing among the Barbados is high. Whatever I say will eventually go, though I didn't get much say in the raid.
So then why did you do it?
Bill, you would have done the same thing if you were in my shoes. At the end of the day, if I didn't do it, more people would have died than what happened. Since I was able to do it, I was able to save the few that I could.
So then what if I killed everybody you loved? And your family, your mother, your father, your grandparents, even your animals, the children, all of them. Would you still say the same thing, that I would understand? Would you understand me killing your entire family? Just because I was obeying orders like a dog?
Elbrian simply comes off with a more somber, not sober, more somber look, and says, he just sobers up real quick. No, he looks with a more somber look and says, "You'd be too late. Somebody's already done that. I understand your pain and where you're coming from."
He looks down at the ground for a minute, like same somber look, kind of sympathizing with Elbrian, but not sure how to go about this.
If you'd like to know the story, I could tell you.
And spit it out.
Before it became Barbados, a raid from a nearby town close to mine happened, and they chose our town to be the target. The same way that we took out your people, they took out ours, but
Is this a Vinland Saga reference? Sorry.
pretty much.
I love Vinland
Anyways,
Saga.
the same way they took out your people, they took out ours. But instead of leaving some, this was in masses. No one was there to save the people I cared about. However, I just had to live with it. Which then led to me becoming a Barbados. Because I thought maybe, just maybe, it could bring them back. And it, obviously, it didn't. Elbrian says, "We're not much different from each other, just you chose a different way than I did."
Oh, my response is just a deep sigh.
Sorry, I
He
had to.
says, if you're hungry, we can head back to camp and make something up for you.
Alright. I'll go back.
Okay, so you guys start heading over to camp. There's not going to be much interaction because you guys did clear the fuck out of this camp the last session. But you start getting over there,
Arson.
and upon this, all the others are like starting to wake up. You guys just see Alucard and Elbrian walking up to the camp together.
I'm not repeating myself.
What time is it?
I know, you already did the stretching.
Yep.
Well, I would say it's like 8 in the morning.
Bane's just vibing.
Yep. Yep.
He's just laying on what I would assume is a cup. Well, not laying, but like
Yep.
just sitting.
Yep.
You're the only gamers.
He's
No, it's
taking
like-
his great time, because if y'all remember, Bayun's not a morning person.
Vayun is
No,
very,
I just stare and
very-
I just stare at you with like the Drake meme. Wake up. Wake up. Wake
Wait,
up.
who?
To you.
I mean,
Oh,
Bayun's awake. Okay, Bayun's
Faye.
so... I'm sorry,
Yeah.
but like...
Wake up. Wake up.
Shut the
Wake
fuck
up.
up! He proceeds to slap Flame in the face. Like, the back of his hand, like he
Character
swings his arm
conflict.
back. Swings his arm back of his hand, goes, wait. Not necessarily meant violently, but just like, you know, not necessarily playful,
Yeah.
but like, you catch my drift here. Like, shut the fuck up,
Yeah,
goddamn.
Yep, yep.
Delmore sleeping with his mind awake.
So Ilbrian and Alucard both walk in, and Ilbrian simply goes to a little barrel where they have salted meat to keep it good, you know, because medieval time. So he goes and he just grabs out meat, and he goes back outside without acknowledging the party too much, and
Oh,
simply starts a fire and puts a rock over this little like
The rock!
makeshift stove that he has, and he starts, you know, grilling said meat.
And everyone smelled the meat.
Vayun went to go talk
Everyone
to
can
him.
smell the
Can
meat.
I go
I
skedaddle?
didn't hear the
Yes,
repeat
you
that.
can go
sorry.
skedaddle.
Okay, I'm gonna go try. But Papa, I thought you liked. No, I'm kidding.
So stop yapping. DM. So Delmore can smell the meat right now.
Yes, you can.
Okay, so he smells the meat. He gets up. He starts sprinting. Delmore hungers.
I could just imagine him running past Bayun as he's walking in the door and shoves Bayun over because he's so hungry.
And it wasn't even just like a simple get up. He like, you know when you like jump out of your bed? Like he did a little,
Yeah.
little flip out of the haystack or wherever.
I do
was
the
there.
He was
little
sleeping
Sonic.
he was
little
sleeping in a
Sonic
cot
thing.
like we were, because we dragged him off the bed. Remember?
Yeah.
I do the little
Okay,
Sonic,
so
silly Sonic
You
spin.
just gotta run out there and you see him grilling Delmore.
What spices you got there?
Okay, good.
How did you get outside and start walking that way?
For a moment,
It's not
for a
that-
moment, as Delmore like gets out,
Oh.
if anyone were to see him, they would see him like salivating at the mouth for a moment, and he's gonna collect himself. He's gonna collect himself so he doesn't look like he's a starved animal, and then sit down next to the grill. Quotation marks.
Can Bayun like sit down nearby too?
Yes.
I don't know. I sit somewhere. I
Anyway,
sit
if
in the
any-
tree above.
If anyone saw Delmore like that, good for you. If you didn't, sucks to suck.
I
Yeah,
roll
so you just,
investigation on that. Okay.
What? Okay, so Ilbrian's just I can't. Ilbrian's just kind of sitting there grilling and like it almost looks like this is of his practice. Like he just knows how to grill like some 5-course meal.
I wish I wouldn't have to have had deceived you.
Ilbrian just kind of shrugs it off and says, I'm used to it.
Who were we deceiving? What?
Bayun will nudge Delmore. He found out we were changelings last night, you dumbass.
But we're not changelings. Look at these horns. I'm a
Oh,
tiefling,
okay.
can't you tell?
What?
I'm like so horny. I got horns and shit.
Bayun's just gonna slap him in the face. Do you not notice that I'm still in my drow? First, secondly, you changed right in front of him. You fucking do this.
I did not change in front of him. I think I would remember doing that.
You were plastered. How are you gonna remember anything?
I can handle my alcohol. Me, plastered, who do you think I am?
No, alright, whatever. If you get a hangover, I'm
Unless
not helping
it was
you.
that good and it was a gallon specifically, or maybe 9 gallons or a barrel's worth, you know.
It's not
But I don't think I drank
like
that much
last
last
time,
night.
partner.
It was a barrel's worth, though. Anyway,
What were you saying,
Bayun,
Orion?
What, DM?
did Orion just say something?
Orion just started saying something.
Did he? I didn't catch it.
Huh?
you say?
Oh, I said it didn't look like that last night, partner.
Yeah, what happened to flying like some fucking crazed bird?
Huh? Why would I fly
What?
like one of those things? He side eyes the bird. Flying?
Okay, partner.
What
Okay.
kind of meat is
Oh,
that?
Bayun just
What kind of
made-
meat is that?
It is wild boar meat.
Lord.
Boar?
Kind of.
Boar?
He starts pulling like the first pieces off and puts them off to the side and says, "Whoever's ready to eat can eat now."
Delmore's already grabbed the plate.
Bruh. I'm grabbing a plate too.
Yeah, Bayun's not gonna touch anything. He's letting everyone else get some first.
So we'll just do a little time skip until after he's finished, like a piece for everyone, and he makes up a plate for both. Well, he makes up a plate for the final 3 who haven't got anything. So he makes Vayun a plate and hands it to him, and then he makes Rhyhorn a plate and kind of slides it beside his bed because apparently he's not awake yet. And then finally, he makes Alucard a plate and then himself a plate and takes it inside to Alucard.
As he goes off to go give Alucard his plate, Delmore's gonna finish his meat, slab meat, go over to Reinhardt and take his slab meat and walk away casually.
Oh,
He's sleeping. He's not hungry.
okay, I'll give mine to Reinhardt then. I haven't even been into it. Here, you.
Delmore's like side-eyeing that piece of meat that is went to Reinhardt.
I'm gonna glare at him. Motherfucker.
As Ilbrian sits next to Alucard, he kind of starts to like open up to him, and he tells him that I feel like such an idiot chasing after Barbados after all this time, and I don't even have anything to do anymore. I have no purpose. It's been my entire purpose is revenge, and I know that it would lead me down a dark path eventually. I understand the consequences that came with it, but that's the path I chose, and now I have nothing. I don't even know what to do anymore.
Random question
Well,
here.
there's
Where
still-
even are Ilbrian and Alucard right now? Because you said he watched
They're
that
just inside the town
Alucard.
hall.
Okay.
Yeah, no, anybody could hear me if they were trying to listen. Like, if you guys were, like, just around me.
So, Ilbrian just simply lets out, well, I think us in the party all have one common enemy. Then he says, well, the people who hired the Barbados to take your town, the kingdom.
And if it's any consultation, Alucard? I don't even remember your name, pardon. If it's any consultation, a lot of us don't know what the fuck we're doing half the time. A lot of us are just trying to find that.
I know what I'm doing, he says, eating meat.
Of course you do.
And then he kind of gestures over towards Alucard and says, once we're done eating here, I can take us to Barbados so you can see your people.
There's no need. If you say they're in well shape, then there's no need for me to get entangled with them. What I'm gonna do is go after the king. I don't care about the lower downs. I'm gonna go directly for that king's head.
So Ilbrian simply looks at you with a more solemn face, per se, and he's just like, I'm sure they would like to see you. You don't know who we saved yet. I think they might be of some importance. And once we get to the town of Barbados, we can make a plan to take the king's head as a trophy.
I'm not sure I can face my family at this time. They'd find out that I spent all these years just going after the murderers. They wouldn't be proud of me. I know it's not something to be proud of, but my mission isn't over. If it was the kingdom, then it is the king that I shall take.
Ilbrian simply says, just give it this one chance to see them again. Because they know nothing of what you've done, and they don't have to know. They still see you as theirs in blood.
I've mutilated so many Barbados at this point, and some of them were probably even under your command and innocent, just because of what they did to my family. I didn't care who it was. If they went under the Barbados, they were mutilated. I've done things I can't take back. But if it is the kingdom you speak of that's truly our enemy, that's the one that ordered you guys, then I must go on. With tears rolling down his eyes and a really somber look.
So what Ilbrian's going to do is he simply reaches inside of his armor, because, well, not inside of his armor, but inside of the cloak that he had been wearing from the Barbados, because the high-ranking Barbados got a cloak. He just reaches inside his cloak and grabs out a type of medallion that resembles your sister, and then puts it, grabs your hand and puts it in your hand.
This medallion, why do you have it?
She
She
told me to give it to you.
She would trust you with such a thing? This has been passed down for generations. This is worth at least 50 gold pieces, and you didn't steal it? Are you an idiot?
I have soft spot for those with family. She wants to see you again, Alucard.
He looks down at his feet and looks back up at Obrian. Fine. And he puts the medallion around his neck with a soft smile.
So, I'm gonna assume most of the party could hear what was going on because, of course, you guys are like right outside and you have decent listening skills. The only one that might not have heard what's going on because they're over here chowing down on some meat is Delmore.
Don't disrespect Delmore's hearing.
The destroyer of Boar, apparently.
So Ilbrian walks out and says, "We've got our
Going
next
to
task.
floor.
Are you guys ready to go?"
Maybe we'll just nod. Standing ready.
Over at
Go,
Delmore
go,
and
man.
says, "Are you ready?"
If Faerun's going, I'm going.
Okay, so you guys just kind of like get ready, and he takes you. It's not too far. Well, it is pretty far of a walk, but he's like taking you to like a place to get a saddle up on some horses so that you guys can get there faster, basically. And so he starts taking you this way after gathering all the party to go, and you guys are all gonna actually run into a small like clump of enemies that are sitting along between here and where you guys need to saddle up at.
Mm.
So in front of you, you guys will see like a few ogres and goblins that have retreated from the camp and kind of band together at a tiny little camp under like new rule by one of the ogres that are bossing around the goblins.
Did the Goblin
Um,
King lost his power or what?
Huh?
Didn't we have a Goblin King in the party? The wolf of the goblins?
That's me.
No. He was the Goblin King that made them like run off. But now that they're under new
Leadership.
leadership per se, you can just see, and
Okay.
the party can all perceive what's all there. So it's an ogre, or it's like 2 ogres, and then maybe a band of 10 goblins. And then, oddly enough, what you guys are going to see, because just they're out in the open, you see a couple of changelings just lurking upon this camp. Like, they're not in the camp, but they're kind of like watching it.
Hello, changeling.
So, what
Group
would you guys like
encounter?
to do?
You be able to do any form of like investigation, quote unquote, from here without getting like noticed.
What would you like to, what are you going to investigate for?
I want to investigate the changeling specifically, like try and figure out how they align, I guess.
Okay, so
like-
I'm going to go ahead and say you can roll for investigation.
Yippee! Okay.
Off of the
Okay.
horses are on them.
You aren't on the horses yet. This is before he gets you to the place where he's going to saddle you up.
Yeah,
Oh,
we're on the way to get our horses.
That would be. Let me find my D20. Hold on.
Well, they're
Found it.
discovering that as they're investigating, Delmore side eyes Alucard.
Alucard doesn't see him siding him. He's
That
more
rolled
focused
off
on
my
like the,
desk.
the goblins. He doesn't see
And it
anybody
rolled off my
besides
desk again.
just the
This
I
is
got a
why you
7.
get a dice tray.
Trying to investigate what exactly again?
They're like alignment, quote unquote. So like, are they Barbados? Are they like King's Men? Like, where are they at in this situation?
Okay, so they're wearing the same cloaks that represent the kingdom's colors. Like whenever you were in the town before, the cloaks that you saw with the kingdom's colors, like the main town you started in, that's the colors they're wearing right now.
Okay. So I have an idea, and this might fail. Would I be able to like stealth whip one of them closer to me?
They're both pretty close to each other, so the other would notice.
Right. But I'm just like
I would-
asking, like, would the others notice, or would it just be the 2?
Alucard
It
kind of
would just be
mumbles
the
under
two
him
that would
breath,
notice.
under his breath, to Velmer and Elbrian, because I'm pretty
It's
sure
a
those are the
D,
two
not a
closest
V.
to him. And he just kind of says, "I can't believe I used to work for the kingdom, doing a bunch of odd jobs and stuff, making money." He says as he starts to like climb a tree.
Well, I basically want to like see if there's a way I could fucking not necessarily like stealthily, but like without alerting the other guys. Kind of like I don't know.
They're far. You guys
Is
are
there a way I
far
could do
enough
that?
out that you would not. You wouldn't even have to roll for anything here because you're far enough out that they wouldn't notice unless you like set a bomb off at their feet.
Oh fucking shit. Alright, alright. So,
are you going to try to whip one of them?
I basically just want to like hold one of them hostage, quote unquote.
Okay, so roll for hit to see
Okay.
if you're able to do it.
You said for hit specifically?
Yes, for hit specific.
Do the rest of us see
You are-
souls?
So yeah,
you
that
do
would
it,
be a
yeah.
d20.
As this is going on, I'm going to just be like climbing from tree to tree closer to them.
Okay, while we're waiting for Soul's roll, go ahead and roll for athletics.
I got a 18, so
I think I said that right. Wait, athletics.
I got a 19.
Okay, so you are able to do that. And what'd you get, Vayun?
18.
No, I got a 21.
Since he's climbing a tree.
Wait,
wouldn't
wait. I don't add any modifiers to that, right? Because it is a whip, so it'd be finesse, wouldn't it?
It's finesse, yeah.
Okay, do I need to add
Um,
any modifiers to that then, or is it just as is?
No, you're fine.
Okay.
Hey, that wouldn't be
Percentage.
athletics because athletics is a strength.
I was gonna say, because I don't
Like
know
the
how
rock is
finesse
it
works,
not?
so...
What would
Acrobatics
it
is a
be?
dexterity
Ac-
one.
Well, I just rolled acrobatics and I got a 21. Or 23.
okay.
Either way, so.
Yeah. So I just want to point
I
that
s-
out because I thought,
Yeah.
bro,
Uh,
how is bro using strength to climb a tree? Is he shoving the tree into the dirt? Like,
I would mainly say it's his strength and ability to climb the tree, but yeah, I get what you mean.
yeah.
So yeah,
It's more acrobatics or jumping from tree to tree.
yeah, that's what I was saying. The strength was for the climbing of the tree. The acrobatics is for the.
Dude,
Jump
what the
in.
fuck?
Okay,
Again,
so
depends
you will just continue climbing and jumping between trees, and Vayun, you will successfully get your whip around one of them.
Like,
And I guess you just like kind of pull them towards you.
yeah, I'm like
Get
holding them
over
hostage, like not necessarily like threateningly, but like, yeah, you catch my drift.
Yeah, I got you. So you are gonna start like holding them hostage, as you said, and the other one kind of notices drawing his weapon at you.
I don't know.
Okay, so can I hold the one against myself, like whipping out my
Yes,
katana?
you
so like
can.
this is kind of overkill. Like, who's
I'm
gonna
gonna
whipping
Yeah, I
a
get what
dive bomb right into
katana
that
on a
person.
dude during a hostage situation?
And they'll move through a thing.
I only
Bro, I
want
wanna-
questions. Pull your
What
blade on
thing
me
are
and
you
you're
wanting-
both dead. I'm like
What is
threatening him.
Delmore wanting to do?
Okay, what kind of weapon did they pull out?
They pull out a short sword.
So, you remember that lasso I made last campaign?
Yes.
We're ripping the lasso back out.
Oh god.
I'm
I
gonna
think
start.
I should have that.
I
But
start,
no, but now my leverage is gone. God damn it!
I start swinging it, lasso, right? Getting it ready to throw.
Huh?
I throw it because it's a thick rope, right?
Yeah, pretty thick.
I want to lasso his sword and nab it out of his hand. I would like to attempt to do
Oh.
that.
All right.
Oh, that rope.
What kind of roll is this?
What's a lasso?
I guess
It just
performing?
Perform? Yeah.
Yeah, performance.
All right. What's my performance? It is. Baby.
A 6, right?
8.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Because I'm a rogue, baby. Creaming my pants right now, guys. That is the first 20 of this session.
You successfully like yanked the sword out of his hand.
Did you hear what I said earlier though?
Yeah, you kind of threatening at him.
Nah.
Let me get to that. So he looks over at he looks a little flabbergasted that the weapon just got like yanked out of his hand, and then he looks over at Vayun and says, "What do you want?"
I want some questions answered.
What will those questions be?
Okay, so first question, because I have multiple questions. First off, you're changelings, yes?
Yes.
I'm hearing rumors that your so-called king is a changeling. Know anything about it?
He just kind of looks at you and looks at the female changeling that you grabbed, and he goes, "Yeah, he's a changeling. Why?"
What's your affiliation with him then?
Say what?
He asked what their affiliation was.
He simply goes, "He adopted me as the son and heir to the throne, and her, well, I found fancy in her, and he accepted."
Okay, so Vayun's gonna kind of have a death glare at this point. Like you can tell there's something up with him. He's like he's kind of like, I don't know, like quiet anger, I guess. Do you believe in what he stands for, and how he chooses to does it?
He just kind of looks at you and says, "He's the king. Why wouldn't I believe what he stands for?"
Since Vayun now knows that they are lovers, he is going to very like suggestively, like, I don't know, grab at her clothes, I guess.
Oh,
So,
hey guys, I
one-
think we're
the
the bad
one-
guys.
so the guy, still not named, but the guy, just kind of looks at you with a more angry look.
Following a king. Do you know anything about what he's done? Anything. And I mean anything. He's giving like that really
says-
evil smile that like you can tell he's trying to be friendly, but like he's pissed.
He just kind of says, "Anything? I've helped him with many things. I know about anything he's done."
Now here's my final question. Is there blood on your hands?
He just kind of looks at you and says, "And there isn't on yours."
Yeah, no, that was
Taking
kind
a
of a
gander at the party.
Alright,
that
fair
was
enough.
kind of a dumb question.
Let me
Gilmore said.
rephrase my question. How many elves have you laid your hands on?
He kind of looks and says, "We're past those times. We don't lay our hands on elves."
Mm. Am I to trust that if I let you go, that you won't start shit?
He just kind of looks at you and says, "They're among our ranks now. Why would we hurt them?"
Trust that if I release you guys, that you will cooperate. If
This
not,
is-
I'm certain
go
you
ahead,
know
go
what will happen to this lass. And he kind of pulls the blade closer.
Are we the bad guys?
He just kind of simply
Are
looks at
we?
you and says, "No trouble."
Alright. He releases her.
She just kind of runs back over to him without saying anything. She's more the shy type, so whenever she doesn't like say anything or even like look at you after, it kind of perks some like suspicion about her being one of the quieter, shy types. But that's about it.
So here's the deal. You're gonna help us get to your king.
That's very vague.
So Ilbrian kind of intercepts and says, "You're pushing too far ahead." Well, he kind of like pulls Vayun to like a point where they can whisper to each other. It says, "You're pushing this too far." They already know by now probably that you have affiliation with the Barbados. They hate the Barbados. They will have an army ready.
I suspected as much. Don't think I don't have that in mind.
Gilmore looks
Vayun's
back at
kind
his
of like
friend.
huffing and puffing. He's angry.
Gilmore looks back at Vayun. So are we letting them go? He
When you
says,
guys
kinda like
are finished, I'll
holding
No,
the
wait,
longsword
no,
you grabbed
say
earlier.
something.
No, we're not letting them go yet. We need their help. He kind of chuckles like sinisterly, quote unquote.
So I'm gonna take
He's
the
pissed off.
longsword off the No, it was a short sword, right? Take it off the lasso and then pocket the lasso again.
Okay.
Don't give him his sword, brother.
Okay, so
We're not
these
done yet.
guys kind of just. So Ilbrian first says, "We're going to Barbados first. We're not going to the kingdom yet.
Mm, we'll
If you
still
go to
need
the
to-
kingdom, you're suggesting suicide."
You have a point, Ilbrian. However, if we are to get in, they're most certainly our best chance. They're coming with us, whether they like it or not. And he glares at them.
Suggesting you take them as hostages, like do
Mhm.
something because they can technically run off.
Yeah, no,
No, but
that's
why
kind of what
did
I was
we-
saying.
Yeah,
Why
Take-
did we
yeah.
interact with them? We could have
Can
gone
I
around.
can I try and take all their weapons and shit?
Well, the only one that had weapons, I'm just gonna give you this because this investigation roll, it doesn't matter what you roll, you'll find it out.
Mm.
The only one that had weapons was him. They were just scouts.
Okay. So
And he already gave you. You don't see any weapons on his physical body.
In the
Just-
middle of the commotion, Alucard just like screams from the treetops.
Where's that?
Creatures of this village, let my group pass by, or we will kill all of you.
So,
so out of the loop.
roll for persuasion, Alucard. See how well you persuaded them to
Wouldn't
just
that be
let you
intimidation?
buy. Intimidate? Yes,
That
intimidation.
would be
Sorry.
intimidation.
I forgot
Oh, my
intimidation was
intimidation
there.
is so high. I think.
I got an 8.
Plus.
After bonuses,
No, yeah, plus my bonuses, technically, yeah.
Ooh.
What's
he
my
doesn't have
intimidation?
bonuses. Okay, so you do intimidate them, and they all
What's
kind
my
of just
intimidation?
flee.
Where is it? Oh.
Oh, so they're running right now?
They are running off.
Can I have Delmore tie their hands and shit?
They're
'Cause he's
running.
rope, right?
Delmore.
No,
Well,
no,
they don't have to
the other
run.
guys.
I mean,
the
I was
guys,
just like, no.
the changelings,
They're
which
not
are
like
still near us.
specifically running, but they're just leaving the camp, kind of scared by the voice from above. They're just
Transfix.
kind of like, "Oh, it's God, scary," and run off.
They don't have to run. It was just more like, let us pass by and you guys will be fine.
Well, they just assumed you were God because they couldn't see you.
I am God.
Bruh.
Okay,
Maybe they're
but
afraid of
you
living
touched
lizard. That would make it so
Delmore
much easier.
Was
to
that
tie up there,
Counter-Strike?
too.
What's Delmore doing?
I was Delmore. Use your rope to tie them. We can't have any runners.
have to? I really like this rope.
I thought you were the fucking smart one. He hits him outside the head.
You're fine. We're using my rope, I guess.
I
You're
don't have
buying
any
me a
rope.
new
What am I
rope.
gonna? Fine.
So I'm gonna start tying them up. Okay, so
since they're,
tech
like-
DMs, are you at it?
Okay.
I was gonna say, while they're kind of like intimidated by
I don't remember.
Vayun already, it just kind of happens. They don't really put up a struggle. I'm not gonna make you roll because they're like scared to pissless.
Okay, so the
And so you
changelings were lovers. Was that stated earlier?
Yeah, they were lovers. Yes.
Damn. Okay.
They're also one of them was also adopted by the king, which was confirmed.
Alucard jumps off from the trees and does like a barrel roll.
It's
You
not
guys were
nullified.
going to tie them up, and you did. So now Elbrian says, "Are we ready to continue moving?"
I don't know. Are we?
Bayun's gonna be
Delmore is
anky
side-eye.
still. He's
I
not gonna
start
answer.
looting. I just start looting the empty houses at this point.
So roll for investigation. See what you can find.
Got a solid 6.
You find nothing.
You find jack shit.
You find
I'm
literally
playing
nothing.
Counter Strike on
You,
freaking.
with how
Alright.
bad your roll was, you couldn't even find the back of your hand. You kind of forgot it was there. Elbrian just simply asks again, "Are we ready to go?"
Bayun's still anky. He's not gonna respond. He's at the ready though, so it is obvious he wants to go.
Let's go.
At this
So
point,
he just
Alucard's already on one of the horses.
Yeah, so he
Okay.
just kind of saddles up the rest of the horses and suggests that one of the hostages stay with him, and then.
Well,
one
no,
of the
these guys are
others-
nowhere near me. Like, I'm at the other side of like the.
Oh, I
the
didn't know
camp.
you've gotten that far.
Ah.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, you guys just kind of walk towards where the horses are, and you can, you see, Alucard already saddled up, and once you guys get over there, you go ahead and so Ilbrian just kind of shows you where the saddles are, and he shows how to saddle up a horse just in case nobody knew.
Okay.
So Ilbrian simply suggests that maybe one of the hostages come on his horse, and then one of you carry the other.
I'll take the female changeling. He smirks like you know he's playing, but you don't know for sure.
So
I
the
ask
male
again, are we the
changeling,
villains?
I'm taking the
The
female
male-
or
I mean, in
changeling.
this context, we might as well be because we're going
And
against
he
the
looks
whole
he looks
nation.
over at the male changeling like grimacing.
male changeling kind of gets a little upset about this and starts to like try to struggle out of his rope. And Ilbrian just goes, "He's on my horse."
Vayun's going to bellow out, "Enough!" Because he don't like just cause.
Anyway, Delmer's gonna take the nicest horse.
Of course he is.
Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and kind of time skip here. So you guys start traveling towards Barbados, and you do get there. And upon arriving, Ilbrian simply asks Alucard, "So, are you ready to see them?"
I suppose.
So would the rest of the party like to follow along, or are they all just gonna kind of wait?
Can
Yeah,
I help the two hostages out off the horses and like lead them, like I don't know, just somewhere off to the side?
Yeah, you can.
I'll
Okay.
assist.
Okay.
Okay, so you guys, we're gonna split parties, but I'm gonna start with Alucard first.
Mm.
Riandros, what would you like to do?
I'll go with.
Okay, so Oriandros, Ilbrian, and Alucard all start traveling towards the Barbados that, or not the Barbados, like the Barbados houses that Alucard's family was kept in. And so you guys get over there, and once you arrive, Ilbrian simply unsaddles his horse and ties him to a little fence post to keep him from like running off, and then sets the saddle over the fence post. I guess you two do the same.
Yeah, I do the same.
Oriandros does the same. Anyways, so he walks up to the door of the house, and then simply says to Alucard, "You go in first."
Alucard lets out of a small knock on the door before opening it gently and peeking in before fully entering the door. Just standing in kind of like the entrance of the doorway.
So a female voice comes from the back and simply says, "Who is it?"
It's your brother? He says, almost like questioning himself.
There's like no noise except for footsteps on the ground, and all of a sudden a figure pops out and pretty much like jumps on Alucard, like trying to give him a hug.
Alucard, like unexpectedly, because he didn't know he was gonna be jumped upon, he kind of like falls over with this new person, like hugging them.
So she simply looks at you and says, "Brother?" Oh,
He starts sniffling. My sweet little sister. It's really you.
Rose
Why does
just kind of
everyone
gives
choose
you
Rose?
a big tight hug and lets out the words, I've missed you."
He kind of like stammers. I didn't even know you were alive.
Rose simply looks up at Ilbrian and goes, "He saved us. Me and Mother."
Mother? Where?
So Rose kind of gets up off you so that you're able to stand and says, "Follow me inside. We can have a glass of tea and talk."
I don't even know what the
Alucard
hell's
follows
going
after
on
her.
here.
So you guys all kind of walk inside, and Ilbrian kind of goes upstairs, and upon that brings down another woman who had been in the house, which is your mother, of course. And she
I love
and she kind of meets you in the doorway of the kitchen, where Rose is pouring tea. Yeah, so your mother's just kind of standing in the doorway, a little shocked to see you again.
He walks up with like really loud thudding footsteps at like almost like a brisk, like a fast walk, and hugs her tightly, bringing his neck or his head like over her shoulder because of like how tall he is.
She simply hugs you back and says, she gives like a serious demeanor and says, "We thought you died. You scared us shitless."
Of course not. He says like cockily.
Mother kind of pulls back a little bit from the hug and just so she can see you and says, "Well, you've grown strong, I've seen. I see, not I've seen."
The things that I've done, mother. I I don't belong. I don't deserve you. He falls short of like words, and you can just tell in his eyes that he's done terrible things, and the idea of revenge.
So Mary just kind of says, "That's not between me and you. You're still family to me. It's the gods who are to judge you, not I."
Am I
Oh,
inside
supportive
the house?
mama.
Yes,
Yeah, you are inside the house.
Andros.
Hello.
Prowl.
Um,
He just got left
I'm
behind.
I'm here too.
Looks back at you and goes, "Who's the bird?"
Just ignore him for now. He's literally emergency food.
I am no emergency. Jesus
So,
Christ.
We're
so
gonna eat
Mary
like
just
grilled
kind
chicken.
of Mary just kind of like chuckles and
Fried
says,
chicken.
"Your humor, it's always been good."
So, is there anybody else, or is it just two of you?
Ilbrian simply looks around and goes, "There were three."
No
What happened to
father.
the third?
Your mother kind of looks at you a little teary-eyed and says, "He passed of old age."
Was it father?
She just kind of collects her composure, trying not to cry about it, and goes, "Yes, father's no longer among us."
He went to go
I
get the
see.
milk.
He lets out a deep sigh, like holding in his emotions at this point, because he's already cried more than enough as it is. He's kind of one to be like self-reserved with his emotions, but at this point he's emotionless. He's just
So,
feeling all these different emotions from seeing his family again and finding out his father hadn't been alive.
so what Mary does, your mother, she like breaks away from the hug for a moment and says, "He left you something if you ever came back." And she goes off to like a kind of drawer and opens it and like grabs out like small little letter that he had written before he died and hands it to you. Would you like to read?
Yes.
So you open the letter and it goes something along the lines like this. Um, "My son, I won't be able to see you one more time, but we think we thank the Barbados for saving us. I know of some of the things that you have done, but to me, you are still a son." And he just kind of says, I still love you." And that's like the end of the note.
I see. So, run till love never ceases to amaze me.
And his mother just says, Uh, there's nothing that you could do to make us not love you.
He smiles and goes over to his sister and like picks her up. Wow, you've grown so much.
She
How
just,
old are you now?
she just kind of like laughs. Big brother, how could you forget my age? And she just chuckles a little bit and says, I'm 16 now.
Wow. How long ago was your birthday?
She goes, just a few months ago.
Okay. So like he picks her up and like brings her into a hug, but her like feet are like is like dangling.
He just kind of hugs you back and says, I poured your glass of tea.
Okie dokie. He puts her back down and starts drinking the tea.
Okie
Okie
dokie. So
dokie.
you guys just all kind of sip tea over this sentimental moment, and your mother, of course, offered the bird some tea and goes,
I did not
"Here
mean
you
to
go,
play
you
that.
bird,
Oops.
take some tea." She offers him tea, he drinks. Anyways, she says,
Pigeon!
So Mary says, drink up. I've heard word of the next journey among you.
But of course, mother, you know what I must do now.
He simply gives you a little nod and says, you mustn't be late like you were as a kid, so go ahead and hurry off.
He kind of stands up and gives her a kiss on the forehead, grabbing her hand. I promise I'll return, mother.
Moof.
And he goes over back to his sister and gives her a big hug and, you know, kisses her forehead as well. Stay safe and take care of mother. I'll be back.
And as you guys are leaving, your mother says, you better be back. Kind of like the loving mother type.
Yeah, I
that
know what you
way.
mean.
Yeah. So I'm going to assume you guys go ahead and head back off to the rest of the party.
Yep.
Or in the way that they came.
That went and saw his
Yeah,
mom.
Alfred, how'd it go?
It went okay. I mean, there's nothing specific to mention, but just family stuff. And my father has passed, even though he was saved. He's now past of old age. My plan is to go after the head of the king. I don't know which of you are with me or against that, but of course I welcome you to join me
Vayun
on
kinda
this
gives
expedition.
Sorry, I didn't realize you were done.
I don't really care. All
Vayun
I'm
kinda gives
here
a playful
for now.
smirk. I was already on that way.
Sounds
Yeah,
fun.
and then
Bro,
he like
I'm like-
and then he like slaps the back of one of the fucking hostages. Like, I mean, what do you think these assholes were for? Do you think
Bro,
I'm just
I swear,
gonna volunteer to put my life on the line for nothing?
So Ilbrian is going to interject a little bit and ask real quick, would you like to know about the town before we gather an army?
That would be appreciated.
Oh, he's gonna simply give you that. So he's gonna say, so Barbados is a port city. Not too much. We manage a lot of imports and exports to keep the town going. You know, normal town stuff. I'm sure you guys are aware. And then he goes, there's a couple islands outside of here.
Ports are well known for being great at gathering information and having information brokers. Do you suppose I would be able to find any good information to help us out?
Probably not. No one is good for information on the kingdom. They silence us.
Checks out, I guess. Sadly, is the way of a kingdom.
And
Even
any of you
remember
have
if I have
interest
animals.
of taming animals?
Oh shit,
I'm
I
down.
do. I forgot about that. Yeah, I can do it then.
Taming animals?
Don't want to fucking answer.
Yes, taking companions would be taming.
He's the only one with
Yeah,
the
I'm
ability
down.
to do so, I think, isn't he?
I got
Both him and Oriandros.
a single positive point into animal handling.
You know, if I try hard enough, I could do it too.
Technically,
That's
all of
less
us
about
could, but we wouldn't be able
companionship.
to use them in battle. That's just, you know, yeah.
Okay, so Ilbrian simply looks over at Rhyhorn and says, after the mission, I can show you to Grimsby Island, where many animals, maybe two of your liking, you could bring along on your journey. He just kind of pointed at Oriandros and says, some of your people might be along this way. I've heard of Alekin camps. Okay, so Ilbrian simply kind of like goes off solo for a second and grabs some of his people and comes back with an army of like 20 Barbados. He gets like 20 people all gathered up and brings them to where you guys are at. And then he goes, okay, are you guys ready to head out?
Sure am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All set.